Here are 3 reasons why your mother and baby father hate you. And when I say baby father, I'm only specifically talking about the narcissists, the sociopaths, the psychopaths, the very controlling, hateful, envious motherfucker that don't want to take care of his child. He hates you and that motherfucking child, matter of fact. So here we go. 3 reasons why. Number 1, because you love the baby more than you fucking love him. You heard what I said. Narcissistic men are jealous and envious of their own children. They're jealous of everybody's children. They're jealous of the love and affection that children receive because 9 times out of 10, they sorry ass mommies and daddies didn't give them that same affection when they were little boys. Even when the child becomes a teenager and an adult, you shower that child with gifts, a graduation gift, buy the child a car, an apartment. He'll be hating on his own kid on the low. Okay? Your baby daddy wants you to worship him the same way you love on your child.
My position is that the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in our black family structure. Now, of course, there are many black people who consider those fighting words because as black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. The book is not an attack on black women. I have never said that all black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I've listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done or that we do daily that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I didn't have time to deal with it, but I talked about them real bad. That's the silliest program I've ever heard of. You know them women that had men if they got a bunch of children. They need fathers. They need protection. We hear about the drug problem that we have in our projects across the country. It's one of the major places that we have a drug problem. We talk about the great strength that we have as black women. Well, the welfare department don't rent government apartments to single black men. Those apartments belong to black women who are allowing this to go on in their home. We have not looked at what part of the responsibility do we share. Yes, black men sell a lot of drugs, and a lot of us black women get the money from them drugs and buy some of these fancy clothes we wear. Drive around in some of these fancy cars. He is not doing these things alone and without support from us, whether they are good or bad. See, we have a lot of power. We are very strong women. I'm saying that we're using our strength in the wrong direction. We're using it to tear our man down, tear our nation down instead of building it up. Having an education and a job does not necessarily mean you have a successful life. I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman. We have sons who are, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on the black female emotionalism. They're doubtful, they're indecisive, they can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man because we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge. We have daughters who grew up in a home where they don't see any affection, where there's no man there. They go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have no idea how to be no woman to no man, how to function in a house with a man, because they haven't seen it. Most of our children, just like us, get all the information we have about how you be with a mate off television. It's the only medium that shows us anybody being together. Those rules have not worked for us. The white woman's liberation movement, we don't have anything to do with that. We have not been under the control of the black man for over 500 years, so what do we have to get liberated from them from? They haven't been our boss. That's the white woman and her man. They're going through that, and that's their business. We don't have any business being in that. They only introduced it to break down the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement started with the black man, the black woman, and the black child standing together, trying to plead for freedom, justice, and equality, and more benefits in the country that they had built. They threw the white woman in there with the women's liberation movement and made it a woman against man thing. That created a big separation between black men and black women, because then everybody started going for self.
The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman is a culmination of many years of study, observation, and research. It is a forerunner, the first book of its kind to realistically detail the problems between the black man and the black woman in America. It is designed to enlighten the black man and create a revolution of positive change in black relationships. The major category addressed is the black woman's emotional insecurity and related fears and how they contribute to the problem. The black woman's emotional distress is often highlighted during discussions about the problem, but neither side admits the real deal. The men protectively withhold their opinions, and the women just outright lie. Their discourse remains detached and superficial, with crucial issues delicately avoided by unspoken agreements on both sides. Part of this is because the black woman does not know that she has an adjustment problem. She certainly does not believe that her disrespect for the black man is destructive, nor that her opposition to him has deteriorated the black nation. The other part is that the black man has received no confirmation that he suspects is actually happening. The black woman's misdirected intentions rob her of the security and the satisfaction she longs for. And she continues to lack the solution and repairing her damaged self-esteem by herself. Her confusion about her role and purpose and the interference of Western society has produced her inappropriate behavior. Her main fault is that she wants to have her own way. It is not an unfair generalization to charge the black woman with being out of control due to her rebellion against the authority of the black man. If the black man intends to be successful in mating with the black woman, he must be aware of every aspect of her nature. While this book is not an intentional negative portrayal of the black woman, I will stay singularly focused on her problems, and I will tell the truth about her condition. Inside information, which has never appeared in print, will be revealed with clarity and speed. And I explain why the black woman persists in the face of repetitive error to hold steadfast to the principles that cause her to fail in her attempts to unite with the black man. I am breaking a tradition of sorcery and cover-ups. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward. Last week we completed our reading of Frantz Fanon's book, The Wretched of the Earth. Great book, great book. I should have my Amazon affiliates information in the description so you can go in there and get it. But I put my new poll up, and I had, of course, 4 books that was a part of the poll. And the book that won was Sister Shahrazad Ali's The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. The 4 books were Black Power, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, Souls of Black Folks, and The Narrative for Frederick Douglass. And with 37% of the votes, Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman came out in first place. So we will be reading this book until we complete it. So let's buckle up and let's get in. So you saw the clip at the beginning of the woman talking about her deadbeat baby daddy and the issues and the beliefs that she has towards the baby daddy and towards men in general. And then it was followed by Shahrazad Ali giving her information based off of her observations, her research, and her studies on the black woman and the black woman in relation to the black man. And it's not good where we are. I think our marriage rate is around 20 to 25%. We have more single parent households than we care to even admit. It's like we can't get along. And if you cannot build a family, you cannot build a society. Well, if you can't build a family, you can't build a neighborhood. If you can't build a neighborhood, you can't build a community. You can't build a community, you can't build a society. You can't build a society, you can't build a nation. Right? So we got to get rid of this talks about building a black nation if we are refusing to build black families. And so what we're going to deep dive into this book and learn the information that Sister Shahrazad Ali is giving us about the issues with the black man and the black woman. And so I'm starting off on the preface. I'm starting off with the preface, and I did the first 2 paragraphs of the preface. Now I'm going to read the second to the last paragraph. Well, it's 2 paragraphs up from the last paragraph. It starts with this book for every black man in America. So that's why I'm picking up in the preface. And then I'm getting into the chapters, and I read chapter 1 and chapter 2. So I think I read to page 10 because I wanted to split it up and be able to get the information like I wanted to give it. So I read chapters 1 and 2. So I read from the beginning of the preface to chapter 10. To page 10, right before chapter 3. So let me pick back up. So this book is for every black man in America, and it doesn't matter who he is or what he's got. His woman is his problem. The black man has suffered and continues to suffer in all aspects of his life generated by the problems that he has with his woman. He has endured rejection and failure in his personal life almost as calmly as success and triumph. Naturally, during these computerized, fast-paced times, it is not fashionable for the black woman to be in submission to the black man. In relation to the black woman, in retaliation, the black man has withdrew his support in all areas. He tries to work his life around the scorn. Still, this report does not absolve or vindicate the black man from his negligence in allowing the black woman to become distasteful. He cannot continue to shirk his portion of the responsibility for her outrageous and embarrassing conduct. And he is the only one qualified and justified to put the black woman back in order. So what I do like here is she's examining the black woman and the position that the black woman is in America and the situation, also the relationship that the black woman has with the black man, but she's not putting the onus squarely on the black woman's shoulder. This is just an examination of the black woman. But like I've always said, 50% of the problem is on the men, 50% of the problem is on the women. But we have to be adult enough and aware enough to realize where we have contributed to the problems and to mature as adults so we can contribute to the solutions. He does not thrive for perfection in the black woman, which is true. This is the wrong generation for that. Instead, he must strive for the effort and improvement and be insistent on progress. When she learns better, she must do better. Some of the remedies in this book will seem harsh and unorthodox, but pain is unavoidable, preceding the birth of a new idea that will born a new black woman to live in peace with the black man. The infected brain may take several generations before the defects subside, but the work must begin now. Today, the black woman will never be able to excel today, the black man will never be able to excel until he gets his woman under control. Currently, he spars with the white man to preserve his freedom while scuffling with the black woman to defend his wounded manhood. He has become adept on both sides. His work to bring the black woman into submission must begin accordingly. It is likened to stepping into the ring with the wild savage boar, a reckless fire-breathing dragon that must be tamed if the black family is to survive. It is the black man's responsibility to win this battle. So we have to find a way to work together. So white supremacy is the root of our issue. So remember, the black family was not in this condition prior to 1965. Prior to 1965, the black family was the model family for America, and the black family was married at an 80% rate. It wasn't a lot of out of wedlock things happening within the black community. Welfare happened. A lot of other social programs happened. Denying black men access to jobs, denying black women access to jobs. Just things that broke, so many factors that were used by white supremacists to break up the black family. These things happen. So yes, white supremacy is the root of it, but we've let it go long enough, right? And she talked about the mental deterioration. So the way we operate is a degenerative way of operating because of the deterioration of our cognitive abilities when it comes to operating as a family unit, right? We've allowed the white man to trick us into hating our women and hating our men. The black woman hates the black man and the black man hates the black woman. We don't really hate each other, and that's the crazy thing about it. We don't really hate each other. We just think we do because in these spaces, it's always pushed by the white supremacists that we're supposed to hate each other. But we really don't hate each other in real life. But on social media, on TV, and all these other mediums that we take our information in, we have the perception and the narrative that we hate each other, but we really don't. But we buy the narratives. Hey, the black woman ain't nothing and the black man ain't nothing. But we have nothing if we don't have each other. So chapter 1, her childhood. And what I like about this is Shahrazad Ali in this chapter is examining how the black woman is socialized as a child.